I'm doing the delayed gratification challenge and find myself with two issues. I'm doing the Escape the Food Prison Coaching Cast 2 and realize that I really like treats after dinner. So eventually this will be the goal. Having a single treat after dinner. The problem is my treat of choice is usually ice cream. So thus far, I've been going to an ice cream shop and eating there. I can't necessarily save it for later unless there's a refrigerator wherever I'm going. Also, since my pre-planned treat is after 7 o'clock, I almost feel like I'm secret eating, which is not a good feeling for me, as this has been one of my biggest struggles. I'm only buying single serving treats because I can't trust myself with multiple serving bags. So I bring one treat home and then eat it secretly. I guess after the kids have gone to bed. I don't eat it in front of my husband either. Any suggestions for this, as this is a slippery slope for me? Thanks. So yes, if you are working on the delayed gratification, and I'm thankful that this question came up, because I don't think a lot of people watch the videos, because I'm seeing questions about eating fast food and is that my treat? And so it kind of leads me to think that some people might not have either watched the videos or maybe didn't watch the check-in videos. So this gives me a great opportunity to catch back up. So whenever I put a video out, that's in lieu of like a directive, like in the sense of, instead of me laying out step 1, step 2, step 3 in written format, the videos are filling in that gap. So I always would encourage you, if I put out a video, please watch it, listen to it, make sure you're understanding what's being said, so that way there is no complications, okay, as much as possible. So number 1, with this process, the goal is not to just have one treat per day, okay? I mean, ideally long term it might be, but for right now getting started, that's not the goal. When I did this for myself, this is the actual process I followed to get my treats under control. I would come into work. I was a teacher. I remember this very clearly. There would be donuts laying on the break room table. There would be cookies on my desk. There would be chocolate bars in the break room. I literally was like a busy bee. I went from one thing to the next thing to the next. I just didn't stop. I saw it. I ate it, didn't think anything of it, just meandered through the day that way. And what I said to myself to start with is, Heather, wow, these treats are really out of control. Like, you start super early, you're eating them all day long. Once you start, you have a hard time stopping. Let's go ahead and see if we can wait until maybe 10 a.m. You get to work at 8 o'clock, you start eating donuts, or 9 o'clock, you start eating donuts, and then from there it's just this cascade of treats, right? So goal number 1 was to make it to 10 a.m. That felt like a Herculean effort. I didn't reduce the amount of treats, I just didn't start consuming them until 10 o'clock. Then I pushed it back another hour. Can I make it to 11? I will kid you not. The hardest one for me was making it to 12 and then 1 o'clock. That felt forever, because when you're used to starting in the morning and you're making yourself wait till lunch or post lunch, that feels like a huge chunk of your day with no treats, right? So I very much remember that. I remember staring at the clock, waiting, like I'm gonna make it, and that was my big focus. What I would encourage you to do, I did not go out every single day to the ice cream parlor because that wasn't something that was feasible within my lifestyle. But what was feasible was I would get these sugar-free or whatever, those like ice cream cones, whatever, individual bars. And so I might get I loved Klondike bars. Actually, I have a pack of them in my freezer right now. The no sugar added Klondike bars with the crunchy pieces. I love those. I keep those. They're individually foil wrapped. Those for me were doable. But now they have something they did not have when I was doing this, which is individual pints of ice cream. They even have these cute little itty bitty Haagen-Dazs ones if you want like the full fat, full sugar ice cream. I personally would rather have a whole pint of Halo Top than to have one of those. But my point is, you could easily do, on your way home from work, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you could easily swing by the grocery store, get 1 pint of Halo Top and bring it home. This way you're not having to wait till 7 o'clock, you're not having to rush back out, you're not feeling like you're doing it in private, your kids and your husband could eat whatever they want, and you've got your treat. So there's tons of great individual things that you can purchase that would make it to where you don't have to run out at night. And you might choose to do that a couple nights a week. And heck, I would say try to do it a little bit earlier on a couple nights and maybe take your husband and your kids with you and make it a family thing. And that makes it feel even more normal when you're eating an ice cream and they're having an ice cream and everyone's participating, right? But if that's not a feasible option every single night of the week, getting 1 pint of Halo Top or Enlighten or Skinny Cow or Chili Cow, or my goodness, there's so many options. You could do that. And again, if you don't like those varieties, you could even do these cutest little things of Haagen-Dazs that I've seen at the store, where you would have literally a single serving and you would sit down and eat it and do all the things, but you could do it at the comfort of your home. What we don't want to see, right? What we don't want to see is the big bag of chips, big, multiple serving things of candy, a half a gallon of ice cream, those things that are not individually portioned, that have multiple portions inside, that we would have to be controlling ourselves around. That's what we want to try and step away from, if at all possible, and try and avoid. But there's nothing wrong with bringing something home that is already in that individual container. Another option on your way home, just thinking out loud, you could swing by an ice cream place and you could ask for a lid to put on it and take it home, stick it in your freezer. That would be another option if you're already coming home and passing a place, as opposed to you having to run back out post dinner and do it by yourself. So those are just some thoughts that might be helpful.